Good evening, everyone.
Good evening, ma'am.
Very good evening. Hi, Alan.
Evening,
I want to talk about today's topic, which is absolutely amazing because, see, this is not just an awareness session, but this is something, awareness when combined with business, awareness when combined with even your financial goals. It's incredible. I'm going to just, okay, yes, we also have our own engage WhatsApp sessions, WhatsApp groups, and Dhiren has just shared the link. So if you're not a part of these WhatsApp groups, please do be a part of it, because a lot of updates, when updates are given on WhatsApp, yes, today's session I'm really looking forward to, because for me, this is not just about awareness, but this is something, where I feel I also can contribute. I also can do something. So when I was speaking to our guest of today, I got some really, really great insight. Trust me, all of you are going to be hooked to this session. Why? Because, one, he's a great orator. Two, I think he's an incredible human being. Three, he has a purpose. He has a great intent behind it. And trust me, this is something that all of us can contribute, be a part of. And who knows, probably you're going to be in this industry, in this domain sometime. And also, you can also, look forward as one of your business. Why not think about, getting into this industry, which is going to be absolutely incredible, because this is definitely a sunrise industry, if I can say. Okay, one simple question to all of you out there. What do you think is the greatest threat to our planet? The greatest threat to our planet for now? Anyone?
Plastic, ma'am.
Sorry?
Plastic.
Plastic, okay. What else? Oh my
Pollution.
God. Humans, oh my God, oh my God. What else?
Pollution.
Pollution, yes. What else?
Global warming.
Yeah, oh my God, absolutely. But combined all of this, I think one of the greatest threat is, we all feel that someone else is going to do all this for us. The belief that we don't need to do it, someone else is going to save it for us. That is a big threat, because, if we feel that, okay, this is not my job, the government has to do it, the politicians have to do it, the United Nations, I, as a very responsible citizen and doing my bit, paying my taxes. Hello, no, that's not something that, at individual levels, what we can do. But let me tell you, it's not just a social, awareness or a message, but yes, tomorrow, if you're looking to work in this industry, tomorrow, if you're, you believe that you can contribute and also make it a part of your living, also, look forward to actually, it's like, purpose and profit. Amazing, no? Sounds good, right? And something like where an industry has so much that you can do. And that is why I think today's session is so special. And I will give you his sophisticated profile. But before reading that, I just had a small chat with our guest of today. Very, very amazing. He said that, Seema, I started working at a young age, and 5 failed businesses. Can I tell you, like 5 failed businesses? He started with not 1, not 2. And, fail has a big stigma, especially in our country, where we say, okay, someone's failed, we term them as losers, right? Do we do that? Yeah, I know that when I was in my 10th grade in SSLC, that's what we used to call it back then. If you fail, your life is over. In fact, even today, we hear so many new quota known as the suicide capital of India and whatnot. There is so much stigma to failing. But, this person did one after the other, 5 businesses failed, and now he's in the 6th business. And let me tell you, he's doing exceptionally well for himself. And I'm sure with more awareness, more contribution on an individual level, bringing a behavioral change, there is much more that he can, actually do. And I think there's so much for us also to take back from this. I think the spirit of bouncing back is something that I take back from this person. And the entire budget of his company, from his entire budget, 20% goes towards defense. What do I mean by defense? Geographical defense? Protecting the boundaries of the country? No, it's about ecological defense. And that is something is so beautiful, something that I learned today. And that is why I feel we all should, need to be aware of this. And, I actually attended a very beautiful session on sustainable fashion. If you remember, you guys were a part of Ricky Cage, our first online and a hybrid session that we did. We also got to know that, few people say you need around 3,000 liters of water. Few of them say that, United Nations says you need close to 7,600 or 800 liters of water to make a pair of jeans. And I was like, damn, what is this? Yes, till it comes to the production line, that's the amount of water that is used. And I was like, oh my God. And when I spoke to our guest today, the kind of, facts that he gave me, the kind of logistic and, kind of awareness he brought towards few things just blew my mind. I'm like, really? In that case, we can be so much more responsible. So I'm not going to spill the beans. I'm not going to kill the thrill for you. You are going to hear it from the man himself. But before that, let me give you his introduction, which I'm just going to read it for you. Very, very interesting. Okay. So the concept of sustainability, that is what he believes in, which is amazing. Cherish Tota. Yes, he's our guest for this evening. Cherish Tota is the co-founder of Compact Innovation Avenues Limited, a company that nurtures a platform for environmental sustainability and pioneers new eco-friendly products. And this is, you should read the names of his products. Very, very interesting. And, they play around practical sustainability with clarity and create necessary impact. But one of the main things that they work on is bringing individual behavioral change. I'm just going to read 3 or 4 of his products. Just listen to this. One is ethical paper, India's first 100% recycled and unbleached paper for office stationery. Trademark, okay? They have this ethical paper. They have something called as brown kind. India's first 100% recycled, unbleached hygienic paper range. EcoPack, eco-friendly corporate gifting. And I'm sure most of you who have been ordering these organic products, you see these wraps, no? So paper-based bubble wrap and carton alternatives, right? So yeah, they do that as well. And you have ring pack compostable bioplastic solution. Someone very beautifully said that, plastic is a big threat. So he does multiple things. I don't want to take much time. I just want to introduce our guest for this evening. Hello, Cherish. Good evening. And it's so good to have you. So over to you, Cherish, without taking much time. And I think a lot of us are looking forward to this session. Our learners are all yours for the next 30 minutes.
Thank you. Firstly, I'll have to appreciate the fact of the bond which is created between the students and you, Seema. They look up to you and they have that kind of a very fluidic bond, which is very impressive. So congratulations to have this kind of a crowd with you. I would want to share my screen. So, yes, I'm assuming this is seen and I'm audible, right?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Let me start slow. There was a lot of excitement in the initial discussions with Seema. Excitement usually gets us to do things which is not typically required. So let me go slow. Let me spend some time on this particular aspect, what you're seeing here. 1 second. We unfortunately do this on an everyday basis. What are we doing here? We are typically embracing the abstract and letting go of the concrete things in life. If I have to give you an example, we talk about idealisms of various types, jingoism, nationalism, communities, this, that, etc. We hold that very dear to our body and to our mind and to our heart, but we let go of the concrete things which are there immediately around us. The world is deteriorating in such a bad pace. We are letting go of that and we're thinking of all other important things. Everybody here, I'm hoping by the end of the session, I'll be able to reach out to you in such a way that the way you look at things will make the difference and not how you do it. Change your lens and change the way you are able to make a difference completely. At the end of it, irrespective of a person's views, I respect you too much to respect your views, if you're able to understand the gist of that statement. I respect you too much to respect your views. I will not be able to say, because you think like this, I have an opinion towards you. No, you are much, much beyond your opinions. So let us get one thing right, is that our opinions matter, but it doesn't matter so much. We are still a different person when it comes otherwise. A few things which I want to highlight on today's conversation. It doesn't matter in terms of who I am or what I have done in the past. It's important to take something back in this session and have an interactive session at the end of the time, wherein my introduction can happen. It's really no great shakes. This tokenism, which is flashing on your screen, I feel one of the biggest problems which is facing up our society right now is tokenism. So let's understand what tokenism is. It is the act of doing something and trying to shrug away your responsibility. An example would be holding a banner and claiming to do something, but at the end of the entire activity, you have that false sense of responsibility taken off you, saying that I did something, and you don't do anything at the end of it. You feel that you have done something, but eventually just doesn't work. Because you feel lazy, you don't deep dive inside this. When you, typically an analogy would be, if you hover your mouse around a topic, you'll only be able to see a preview of it. But it's only when you double click, you go deep down and you get the understanding of the details of it. So tokenism is something which exists right through. How many of us just do it for the sake of doing it so that others want to know that we are doing something around it? We have to arrest that tokenism. The world is not in a place where we can manage for compromises anymore, as Al Gore or anybody else who is hardcore environmentalists have tried to excite people, try to get awareness to different people. I am one of them who are wanting to have everybody to look at sustainability and look at everyday practices in a very, very different manner. So tokenism is something which needs to be completely vanished from our ecosystem. And that tokenism, unfortunately, gives rise to greenwashing. Because we are doing things for the sake of doing it, there are capitalists and there are companies who are easily able to create a product, do some greenwashing is what we call, basically make it look green where it actually is not, and is able to sell it to a consumer, assuming that the consumer is assuming that he's taken something green. We have seen this happen so many times. A person says organic vegetables, but we know the amount of rubbish that is being spewed at as organic under the label of organic. We have seen multiple books, they call it recycled paper, but once you open it, it is white in color. White on paper is very clearly a natural resource which you don't require. So there are multiple products in this particular manner all over the industry, which greenwashes all consumers. You need to be aware to figure out which are the ones which make sense, who are true to their word, and which are the ones who are not. So please watch out for number one, tokenism, and tokenism that gives rise to greenwashing and the product line, which takes advantage of our incompetencies to handle what is right and what is wrong, to be frank. As of now, as to what is happening, towards the left, I thought I'll just share this meme with you. It was interesting. Towards the left, we have a unregulated production of plastic. The consumer, I mean, the producers think that the onus is on the consumer to properly get rid of the waste. it is actually wishful thinking if you expect all the consumer to talk about waste segregation in a proper manner. I saw one of the people here in the chat talk about waste segregation. I'm glad that people are aware of how important it is. And because we just have wishful thinking that other people are doing their job, our trust ends up in smoke. I felt this was very apt for what the situation we are facing right now. Am I continuing being audible? Just if you can give me a heads up, someone.
Yes, yes.
All right, thank you. An analogy. If we have to change the way nature thinks, or we have to change according to what nature wants us to do. Back in the 60s, the Chinese premier, Chairman Mao, saw this problem which was inherent, sparrows trying to destroy a lot of crops. So the entire farmer community went to Chairman Mao in China and said, we need to do something about the sparrows. We are losing our crops. So this gentleman, Chairman Mao, says, okay, we are killing all the sparrows. So he gives bounty on each and every sparrow. All the citizens across the country catch all the sparrows and kill all the sparrows, and they get a bounty for killing so many sparrows, etc., etc. Good thought at that point of time. But the next year, the crop was bumper. There was absolutely no problem, 200% yield. And the year after that, unfortunately, it came to less than 20% yield. Because the sparrows were not just getting rid of the seeds and damaging the crops, 90% of their job was to kill the insects which were there in the crops right through. So because of the insects not being dead and eaten up, the insects crawled all over the farm, and it just made a mincemeat of the situation, which was called, this scheme was called the Smash the Sparrow scheme. And it took more than 10 years for them to recover from this one bad decision. So we can't change nature. We have to evolve along with it. We have to understand along with it. As we mentioned, as Seema and the rest of them know as well, the world is in a very precarious place. More than 20% of every country's budget is being spent on defense as of now. Average, I'm paraphrasing, please don't hold me against it. But around 20% is the budget which is being spent towards defense, because we are saving ourselves from geographical boundaries, from Pakistan, from China, from Sri Lanka, from the pearl necklace, the necklace of saviors, etc., from China, etc. So in the next 15 to 20 years, this 20%, which is going to defense, will shift towards sustainability. And because we don't have problems and perils coming from around us, but it is coming from above us. We need to be ensuring ourselves, we need to be ensuring that we have the right kind of checks in place so that it doesn't happen. So there's a big amount of money that is coming into the sustainability industry in the near future. And unfortunately, the ecosystem for this sustainability industry is not forged as yet. It's a sunrise industry. It's just going haphazard. Carbon credits, this, that, too many terms happening. It is not an industry which is taken seriously in developing countries, etc., etc. I want to be there as a part of that forging of the ecosystem. Because while you're forging it, if you're able to put your intelligence, if you're able to put your involvement, you'll be able to forge it the way you require it, which the end objective is to take care of our earth, to be better in the earth, typically. So United Nations has taken this up very, very seriously. In 2013, 2014, it said the whole world should follow a Bible sort of thing. It made the Sustainable Development Goals 1 to 17, which has multiple ways of utilizing resources responsibly. If I can just have the mic open for the few of them, how many of you are aware of Sustainable Development Goals here? Just for me to understand the level of exposure what the crowd has today. Anybody?
All right, just to make it simple, how many of you are aware of the sustainable goals, right, Cherish?
Yes, yes.
Yes. I'm sure all of
This
us.
is the United Nations. This is the United Nations Sustainability Goals.
Right.
This was presented to everybody in the world saying that this is the way we need to work towards having a better future. So in the curriculum, what we are learning, I know that sustainability and environment is given, unfortunately, a very last priority, or rather not a priority, I would say.
Right.
But even nevertheless, there are a lot of people who are interested in sustainability, and this is the tenet of making a world a better place. So I urge people who have not, who doesn't know about sustainable development goals to look into it, enter the rabbit hole. Each and every sustainable goal has a meaning, and it has a lot of usage for it. And my objective here, of course, is to irk the curiosity of people here. In one session, I cannot give you all the content which is required on sustainability. It just doesn't make sense. My objective is to tell you that it's a bloody exciting world out there in sustainability. As a profession, as a career to pursue, as something which will make you feel complete. You know, when you do something, you have that complete feeling. It's very important. It's more than just getting
We are
paid.
receiving a lot of questions, so I'm getting a lot of direct questions
Sure.
asking. Can
Sure.
Cherish throw a little more light on, its professional aspect, or how we can actually earn, but also having this like you have the purpose, but at the same time you have a purpose,
Yes.
a mission, a vision,
Yes.
but at the same time
Yes.
you're also earning a living out of it. So how do we do that?
I'm getting there. I'm getting there. That's my next slide as such. Why am I showing you chopsticks? Because chopsticks is the only thing which will help you eat very mindfully. Very mindfully. Think about it. You can choose the amount of condiment and spice every time you have a morsel inside your mouth. The amount of rice, the amount of vegetables, the amount of spice, everything can be managed in one particular manner, and you can be mindful. The reason I'm showing you is this: you need to be mindful, and we call ourselves the practical sustainability option. Sustainability is esoteric. A lot of people are talking very big things about it. It's something which is not understandable as yet completely. We want to break that mindset. We want to call it practical sustainability. Things which can be used on an everyday basis, and things which can be replaced on an everyday basis is practical sustainability. As a company, we use this as a central tenet. And our products I wanted to share in terms of how do we make our money are these. I replaced white paper, what you typically see in every office, A4 size paper, into a gray color paper. Now, the gray color paper, it reminds you that there is an eco-friendly alternative. For the user, when he's so used to white paper and he replaces that with gray paper, he knows that previously the white paper was using a lot of resources. It was using a lot of water, it was losing a lot of color. It used to be cut. It was a tree earlier, it should be cut, etc., etc. But the moment he sees this white, gray color paper, he knows, or at least he's asking a question himself, saying that if I can do without using those resources, why not? So this is the first product which we came into the market with. A person who has a environmental penchant, a consumer or an institution towards saving the environment, definitely chooses this as their choice of paper. It's the same price of paper. So a person should not have two minds saying that, oh, it's expensive. Previously, it was always the stigma. Anything which is environmentally friendly, anything which is organic is always expensive. We wanted to break that stigma. Paper, usable, same cost, it's just eco-friendly. So with this, we entered the market. We were able to create an impression with people. Then we moved into other products. A tissue paper, very simple one. We're so used to using white paper because it's just that we're just used to it. There's no other reason. We made Brown Kind as a brand, changed the entire range of tissue papers from white to brown. And we were the pioneers in India to do that. There were a lot of people who came in and I wouldn't say copied, but imitation is the best form of flattery. So I'm glad a lot of people are doing this now, but I'm glad also that I was the one who pioneered it. When I say I represent the team at Compact Innovations. So this is a big ticket item. 68,000 trees every month or every day is broken down to make tissue paper what is required for the world. 68,000 trees. I use recycled paper. I don't have a difference in the form factor. There is no smell. You can replace it completely with this. The same cost. The same cost. All you need to do is think sustainably. That's about it. A few more of our products. How much time do I have, Seema?
This is
Another
getting
15
really
minutes?
interesting, Cherish. But yeah, I think
Wonderful.
we can go on for another 5 minutes. Yes.
Sure, that's nice. This is one product which is an innovative product of ours. Allow me to make a thought experiment amongst everybody here. Please indulge in this thought experiment. A bubble wrap, as of now, is made out of plastic. Now, if you need to have an impact protection for anything which is to be sent in courier or anything to be parceled, you need to wrap it with bubble wrap, because impact protection with plastic and the air bubbles in between the plastic protects from any kind of damage. Now, I am able to make a special purpose machinery which produces what is in front of you, and we call it PAP wrap. What is PAP wrap? In my special purpose machinery, if I put old cartons, my machinery cuts it into small pieces like this. It places it on a paper, it sandwiches it with another paper, and you have rolls of this coming out in the other side of the machine. It's a simple machine. But because of this, we are able to get rid of bubble wrap almost entirely. Number one, it is cheaper than cartons or even the same price as bubble wrap. Number two, it is, let's take the best way to do is upcycling this. I mean, otherwise those cartons which you have put into the machine will go into recycling, and a huge amount of resource is put towards recycling and getting back in the same format as what you got rid of. Just cosmetic changes. I hope you're able to understand what I'm trying to explain. If I'm able to serve a purpose by upcycling the carton boxes then and there, any fulfillment center, an Amazon, a Flipkart, anybody would love to have this because it handles the sustainability factor well. It saves their money, at least 25 to 40% in packaging costs. There is so much of change that can happen. So this is where the money is. Sustainability, how you get it into practical use is where the money is. And that is where we need intelligence. That is where we need people, students who are able to think sustainably and come out with new and more innovative products. We are always on lookout for. Now, that is one particular product which we have. I'll just take another 2 minutes more to discuss my single-use plastic alternative. We call this Reinpack. Our team of scientists and our team of researchers have developed something called a bioplastic. I'll give you a small reference of bioplastic. It is plastic that is made out of agricultural sources, anything which is grown from the ground upwards. Now, this plastic we have seen in other places. It is nothing exclusive. But the plastics which we see, the bioplastics, what we see is industrially compostable. When I say industrially compostable, you cannot just throw it in our house and it will not get rid by itself. You need to use some machines, you need to use some apparatus, some chemicals, etc., to quickly compost it and then convert these plastics into compost, which you can get rid of at any point of time. Because otherwise, plastics always have that guilt. If you don't take that responsibility of getting rid of it completely, that stigma is always there in your head. It's called the extended producer's responsibility, EPR. I would love it if you could just take these notes down. I can also send some notes at the end of the day for you to do some rabbit hole searches because it's exciting. EPR, extended producer's responsibility, is wherein the producer takes responsibility until the end of life of that particular product. Plastics had that responsibility. My product here gets rid of that responsibility to the producer because it is home compostable in 180 days. If you crumple it, throw it, make sure that there is soil that is covered around it, it will decompose itself in 180 days. And why am I innovative in this? Is because I'm doing a sandwich of, if you see the picture here, it has 3 layers. One is a bioplastic layer. The second is a very simple gauze cloth, very simple bandage cloth, which we call. And the third is another bioplastic layer. I have glued it together with using organic glue. Now, the cost of this is just about the same as a high-grade plastic. Now, that's the killer, right? That's the killer. If I'm able to go to a person and say, boss, you've been using plastic all this while, you're paying 5 rupees for this bag. I will do it in 5 rupees 30 paise. Give me 1 crore bags. Sustainability forms that factor of converting his no to a yes. And it can play that part as of now because the industry is waking up for fresh and sustainable products. Mohit Satyanand, somebody whom I follow, is a macroeconomist, and he has a very deep understanding of how economics works, especially in the subcontinent, what we are in. He said that the country as of now is in a very delicate position, though we are having good narratives that how good our economy is doing, etc. It is polarized, and we don't want a 5 trillion economy where 3 trillion is shared by 2 of them. You know, the rich are getting richer and the poor are getting poorer. We need to change that equilibrium. And that equilibrium is changed by one hope, and that hope is startups of India. The startups will be able to change that entire ecosystem if given the right kind of a progressive ecosystem to follow. Please look up Mohit Satyanand. He is an amazing, amazing person to follow and follow the things what he has learned or he's taught. So that's what we are. We want to work towards a bright green future, as what I call. Our B2B handles and the B2C handles are thefuture.green, www.thefuture.green, wherein we are able to see all types of practical sustainable products, things which can be replaced immediately without much of thought, but sustainability remains a priority in that always. I have been championing this along with my co-founder and my founder, in fact, my visionary, Suresh Tota, my brother, who has the penchant for all these innovative products, and he's getting more and more onto the table. We would love it to get some information back in terms of how you felt this insight towards sustainability is. I would love to open it out for the questioning now, please.
Oh my God, this was such an incredible session, Cherish, because I think there are so many things that we are not aware of, and I think these are very doable things. What I can definitely do from my end is, because I was so inspired by this and so influenced in the right direction, that I think I'm going to talk to my management and the entire Jain group of institute, is this the first step that we can take? It can be a small step, but I think it's just about taking that one small step in the right direction. And definitely we'll get back to you on this. But anyone else, if you have any questions for Cherish, yes, you can unmute yourself, or probably even in the chat box, put your questions there. And Nadeem, if you can help us with the questions, please. Yes, does anyone have anything to ask? All right.
It is either that I was so boring or it was absolutely complete. Everybody have understood everything what I said. I don't think that's the fact.
People are actually thinking, oh man, I mean, is this the case? You're sharing very valuable information, sir. All right, that's what Abhishek says. Yes, we have a question. Yes.
Sir. So the idea is so great, and I really inspired your ideas and the bright green future. And I'm totally agree about all the things with a same price you are available. All the products is the best, and I think this is best. Thank you, sir, for giving me valuable time.
Thank you, Ayushi. Thank you for that lovely feedback. Anyone else? All right, we are getting a lot of comments saying that was valuable information.
The question was so good, and so thank you for coming. And like, it was amazing, new to me. Like, actually I joined Green Mission Mumbai, so I got to learn more about the other NGOs which are working. Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you, Sudha. So we have a question: where can we get these products from?
As a startup, as of now, we are only doing B2B. So as you mentioned, if Jain Group becomes a client of mine, you'll have access at your doorstep. We have not yet reached the digital spaces yet. This is hubris. I know that I will not reach the digital space, but we have not equipped as of now to reach the B2C market as yet. We are ensuring that we are refining our product line to such a way that we are able to reach out to the niche people who are able to make the difference. So, but we are available B2B, so we can reach out to us. My website is there. You can reach out there, and all the products can be bought from there.
Thank you, Cherish. I think this was an incredible session, great awareness, and I think there is something for all of us to contribute, very doable stuff. I'm recommending this to my company. So we have these kind of comments coming in. Thank you for the valuable session. This was wonderful, Cherish.